It's good stuff. Gotta have it. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. So don't tell the wife. But we got another plane. Yeah. So the wife accused me of having 5 airplanes, so I didn't want to make a liar out of her, so this makes 3. Maybe 3.5 if you count the wrecked one that I have in pieces. Not sure if I'm going to put that together or just let it be. But yeah, so, you know, you might ask why another airplane. Because, you know, they're all unique and different. Good friend Jeff there that's been teaching me to fly, he has a plane called the Aero Scout, and it's supposed to have landing gear on it, but he uses it for training people, and you know, it doesn't have any gear, so we belly land it, and it's actually quite fun to do. So that's what I've been why do they do this? So that's what we've been doing. I've been learning to fly that, and it actually, you know, makes it quite easy to land when you don't have to balance on gears. You can just hit the grass and kind of slide. So this is another one. It's a trainer airplane. It is by, let's see here, OMP Hobby, and it is called the, let's turn this around for you. Yeah, the T720 trainer radio control. I'll leave a link in my Amazon store down below for this, so if you're interested. Not very expensive, and it is truly ready to fly. Everything you need is in the box. Check it out. You got some heavy plastic here for landing in the grass. I believe everything you need is somewhere here under this nose. I don't want to break it. I don't know how to pull this off. Guess we might have to read the instructions. So basically, yeah, and like my apprentice, it's like a high wing Cessna style, and same thing with my the Sport Cub. They're both kind of high wings. They glide really easily. Where the plane that Jeff has, even though the wings up high, flies completely different. Okay, so here you go. Got your controller. Got a normal, a sport, and a trick mode. I plan on freaking Jeff out with this when I'm going to show this to him, and I'm going to hit that. And I think it does a loop. So we'll see. So you get a battery and a little USB charger right there. I'm not, man, I don't know. I might keep the box for transporting the plane, but I don't know. It seems like it might be a bit of a pain to do this every time you want to fly. So check it out. Here's the rest of it. So to make this really, really easy to assemble, supposedly, from what I've seen on some videos I watched before I bought this. You know, I mess around with these websites too much, like Main Tower Hobbies and all that, and I just always looking for, and I clicked on planes, and it came back with this thing like limited supplies, and they actually had a better deal than what I could get on Amazon and everything. Oh, really? But I mean, I guess you could travel with it like this. So from what I've seen, so what's nice is there's no external servos. There's no anything out here exposed. And if this thing takes a hard landing, the wings in that are just designed to pop off and not break. So you have a little servo arm here that locks into a little slot there in the wing. Or the aileron, sorry. Get my terms correct here. Do that with the next wing. So there we have it. And then the tailpiece. Okay, so right there's a magnet. So same thing we want. Okay, so there's a little hole right here that we need to make sure that that lines up. really like that design. There's none of these goofy cables and things like that. I'm sorry guys, gotta remember the camera only has limited view, and that's my fault. So there we have it. Haha. And we do have to put the prop on. Alright, I will say the instructions kind of suck. They do not go into any detail on this propeller. I did watch one video, the guy put it on backwards, and then another one where the guy even mentioned that the instructions kind of sucked, and he showed which way it goes. So I took like a screenshot of it, and I'm trying to make sure that I put it on the right way. Alright, so it took a minute to figure it out. So the nose comes off, it hooks in here like so, and then just snaps down, so you pull up here and then it just kind of hinges out, and there's a little magnet right here, something like that I believe. And then the battery, oh, now always turn on your controller first. So the battery just will go in here like so. What is the best way to do this? Maybe the instructions do give some insight. No, not really. It says battery. But see, there's Velcro right here, so you kind of want to make sure you match it up. Okay, so I guess you can just... So, I think I'll do it this way. We're just going to put it in like that. And then this can just get... That hopefully should... No, that thing's in the way. Dang it. It seems to fit better this way. And then you can... There we go. I will notice something. I bounced this a little bit and the wing came out. So I was like, what the heck? You really got to push these in hard because the two pieces of plastic have to clip. Now I think I have this on right based on the rotation of this. So it spins clockwise. So it looks like it would grab the air and push it. Yeah, it feels pretty strong. Whoa. So yeah, I think that's on there right. Now what I don't get is this engine's. Oh, they even cut it. It's at an angle. I'm not sure if y'all can see that. But the engine, that's weird. Maybe there was some kind of thrust differentiation with it being like a pusher, kind of like what we have in helicopters. You have a retreating blade stall, so the propeller, the rotor blade that's going with the air produces less lift. So maybe one of these blades here on some part of the rotation creates less, and that's why they offset that. But it seems to be designed that way because the styrofoam's even cut crooked. Alrighty, so this is like a fully functional, just like any of my other planes. Full 4-channel, like I just showed you. You got your throttle. Let me move this thing up a little bit, hopefully. So we have our, wow, that is a lot of throw. Wow, it does not. So that's kind of, it's not, whoa, it's not returning. Put in sport mode. Well, that could be a problem. That's not returning. And there is no trim settings on this either. That's weird. Alright, well anyhow, moving on. We have full aileron and we have elevator. so you can see. Now we'll put this in safe mode, or I'm not sure what they call it, but it's, so you can see, like, let's just say I'm trying to fly level and the plane banks. See, so this is just trying to correct for it. Same thing if we go pitch up or down, you can see the elevator coming up. So it's supposed to be really easy to fly. I like that it doesn't have a landing gear. We can just slide this thing in the grass. So this kind of makes it more versatile, because it's really hard to find a place that doesn't have grass to fly in. A lot of places you can fly are gonna have grass. It's hard to find a place that's paid for you to land in with landing gear. So I like this. Well, so far I like the concept of it. Like I said, Jeff has the one plane, he removed the landing gear, and we've just been doing belly landings. So when I saw this, I think it's like 120 bucks. It's completely ready to go. I was like, hell yeah. Now, AMain doesn't have any parts for this, but there are plenty of parts available on Amazon. So I like that. I don't like the fact that the rudder, okay, there it goes. Now it's finally, oh, it's still sticking a little bit. Sounds like it's hitting something in there. And I don't think there's much you can do about it. So yeah, I think that prop's on right, because it feels like it's pushing pretty good. All right, everyone, let's go take it out for its maiden flight. I don't think I showed this very well earlier, but the connections to the battery are in the back. And what I do is I plug it in and I just kind of like roll it to the back. So basically plug it in. I plug it in and then just push it. See, the two connectors are here, and then this goes here, and then that gives you enough room to snap it in. So we're here to do the maiden flight. And they installed football posts on the running field. That's awesome. All right, so okay, so we got everything working, right? All right, now we got to hand launch this. So, all right, I got to put the sun on my back or I won't be able to record anything. Whew. All right, maiden flight of the OMP Hobby T720. Oh, wow. Woo! So it does give you a lot of aileron control. I want to get it over here, and I want to try this, whatever this stunt mode is. All right, let's hit it. Oh, it automatically throttles up for you. Oh, cool. Look, it's just gliding now. It's just a glider. I'm gonna try to land it. Yes! All right. Gotta practice my landings. I like this thing. It's fun. It's big enough. See, unlike the Sport Cub that I have, this thing's big enough you can really keep an eye on it. And I just like it. Flies really good. Starting to get a little breezy through here, but I'm gonna try to do a low. I will say the only thing is that it is a lot really touchy on the controls. You can really kind of like that nosedive it. Meow. And I'm sorry everyone, I brought a camera to put on the plane to okay, so I banked it a little too hard in it. So that was an unintentional landing. You will have to give it a little up elevator on turns. I do notice that. But oh, look at that, the wings popped off. Woo. Was it that hard of a landing? Wow. Guys, make sure you hear that click. Let's check this. All right, so all that works. Come on, let's fly by real low. Look, I have almost no throttle in this thing. So this thing's not as forgiving as like the Sport Cub, but it flies good. I like it. Just kind of sucks that now I have these obstacles in my field, these goalposts. All right, let's land. Whoa. And guys, good plane. I'm enjoying it. I think it's a good if you're new to flying, it is very strong in the turns. It's a lot stronger than the Sport Cub, but you can fly this in higher winds than the Sport Cub, so you kind of have that give and take. But I do think it's a good plane. Good for beginners. It is easy to fly. Like I said, it does get a little aggressive in the turns, so your assist isn't as strong, so you can kind of get in trouble, but I guess that's where the durability lies in. So I wouldn't say this was probably for like a day one beginner with no experience, but it is a good plane. I like it. I do like it. Meow. I said so. Well, if you have a lot of throttle in it, a lot of speed, it's good. But with that, it wants to climb. So, oh my God, the mosquitoes are out here bad. So, check it out. Look at that thing. Oh, I'm trying to fight damn mosquitoes and bring you this. I think the battery might be getting a little, I don't know, either that or I'm just getting a little too. But it is easy to fly. It is kind of forgiving. All right, everyone. the T720. All right, everyone, so before I sign off, we had one little incident here. I was taking some turns. I was trying to get this thing down low, and oops. Like I was saying, it came down nose first, and it flipped over, and look, everything just popped off. So it did what it was designed to do. But I think the battery's just getting weak. I don't know. But I made a really sharp turn. I hit some elevator. I was getting over there, and I was getting a little nervous about it. And I wanted to make a turn. I was getting close to this thing or whatever. And let's see if it'll fly. Yep, so it works. All right, guys. Wanted to show you that I just did nose it full speed into the ground, and it survived. Look, it lives to fly another day. Very, very durable plane. So before I give the final verdict on this, I just want to do a quick comparison with the Sport Cub. They're both trainer aircraft, and they're both kind of in the same price point. I will say the biggest difference would be that the Sport Cub is so light that you really 5-mile-an-hour winds is all that this is rated for from the manufacturer. And I flew this one in a lot heavier winds. I didn't show it in the video. I did go back the next day and did some more flying with it, but that would be the key difference. Now between the two, this uses Spectrum Electronics. You know, it's Horizon Hobby. I think they just have a lot more money, and they've been around a lot longer, you know, for research, development, stuff like that. So off the bat, you'll notice here the Spectrum does have trim settings where this one doesn't. This has a panic feature where this one doesn't, but you do have a pretty cool trick mode. So this only has 2 modes, normal and sport, where the Sport Cub has 3. So you have your safe mode, you have intermediate, and then you have full-on flight mode. This is really easy to fly in safe mode. It really behaves well. It really limits the bank angles, and you can get crazy because, you know, beginner pilots like me, and I think that's one of the things you see when you watch a lot of YouTube videos. You got people with a lot of experience flying a plane, and if it banks crazy or steeply like this one does, they don't think too much of it because they're used to flying in full regular mode. And they're used to just small inputs, where those of us that haven't flown for a while, we start heading towards a tree, and you know, we panic and we go full stick. This one will behave a lot better in safe mode. This one here, you can have it in its trainer mode and it will crash. I did it, as you just saw in the video. I think I got a little bit too aggressive on the aileron. It kind of went over, it stalled. I didn't have enough throttle into it. So, both good planes. This one's going to be more limited in the wind, but I think this is a little bit more of a refined flyer for your safe mode. I think this is going to be better for a beginner with 0 experience. So this plane is a really good plane. So let me just go over some of the bad things. Touch on that first, things I dislike. I don't think this is really good for somebody who has 0 flight experience. Like I mentioned earlier, it does get aggressive on the control. There is a lot of authority given to the ailerons, the rudder, and I also had a problem with the rudder doesn't want to center quite. But I will say, flying it, I did find just using rudder only to turn did make it a gentler, easier approach, and then you could just add just a little aileron to go ahead and do it. But if you go full on aileron, this thing can get itself into like kind of like a steep stall. You can let go, it will recover, I'll give it that, but you can get yourself in trouble quicker with this than you can that. Now, while there are parts available, I cannot find where there's a fuselage available. So if you break this, you might be able to glue like this tail boom. If you break it or something, you could probably glue it back together. maybe, but if you damage any of the internal stuff, you're gonna be stuck buying another plane. Granted, this one, you know, it's like maybe $10 for a fuselage. It is a little difficult to work on because everything's glued together, so it makes it hard to take stuff apart, but you can get every single piece for this. This you can only get like a prop, wings, and this piece, and this canopy piece. So if the electronics go bad, the motor, any of that, you're going to end up having to buy a whole nother plane. I mean, you probably could find a plane. This is what, a sunny sky. So you could probably find the motor somewhere, but with everything being located, all the cabling and that being run inside the plane, even the servos, so if any of these servos go bad, if any of that, you're not repairing that. So that is kind of like a concerning downside to this, that it's not as repairable as this is. This thing, you can get a motor, the gearbox, the electronics, anything you need, you can get. This one's a bit more limited. So downside, like I mentioned before, there's no trim settings, which are, I don't really feel like I needed to adjust any trim, so I guess that's a good thing. This one I did have to do a little adjustment, which is kind of easy. Just kind of squeeze these the cables that run on the outside, and you could do some adjustment, or you could fine tune it with this. So you kind of have two ways with this to adjust it. But so there's no trim setting. It is a little aggressive, I feel like, on the control surfaces for a beginner, and the repairability. Now the good thing is, all in all, generally, yes, it is an easy plane to fly. You can let it recover itself. There's no panic mode, but you can let go, and for the most part, it does recover. It's very durable. I nosed this thing straight in the ground. It did what it was designed to do. The wings and the tail popped off. It saved it. I even had one landing, or I did get stupid and try to take off in the grass, and it caught, or what happened, it did a hard landing and the wings popped off, and when I went to take off, the one wing came off and then the plane flipped, and I thought I broke the prop, but it didn't, so that was a good thing. But very durable, fairly easy to fly. I think it's good for a beginner with some experience. I would not make this my first plane. It's kind of like my Apprentice. The Apprentice can be a bit to handle. It is a large plane, a lot of power, and you can get in trouble with that. But this is easy to fly. It's big. It's bigger than this, so I think it's easier to follow in the sky. It's got good power. Another thing I would say that on the dislike is the Spectrum, or the Horizon Hobby one, the Sport Cub. You'll get a notification. The LED will change colors when the battery's running low. The controller will beep, and then you also get an audible pulsing of the motor. You'll hear it kick on and off, letting you know it's time to land. This one, no. From anything I've seen and out there flying, it didn't seem like it. It did get to a point to where I was giving it throttle. It wasn't as responsive. It didn't climb as fast. It seemed like, you know, it was still flying. And I'm not sure what this one does, if it does completely run out of battery. The Horizon, if it loses signal or it runs out of power, it will just do a circle until it lands. This one, I don't know what it would do if you turn this thing off. That would be interesting to kind of test. You know, hold it, throttle it, and then turn it off and see what happens. I don't know. So, but all in all, I like the plane. I think it's a good plane. I wouldn't make it my very first plane. I don't have a lot of experience, and I did find it, you know, a little twitchy. If you have more experience, you're probably like totally fine with it. But I wouldn't make this like my absolute first plane, but it is a really good plane. And if you want to get into flying and that, I would. I think this is definitely a lot more durable than the Sport Cub. If you missed that video, go check it out. So, good plane. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you on the next one.